Hi, I'm Jared Kapoor with Evergreen Telemetry. Today we're going to talk about our water meter and how to take measurements and zero the meter properly. We're going to start by turning on our wrist reporter. It will boot to the link screen. It goes to a small self-test. When you see turn on modules link, you're going to use your Evergreen water meter button on the side. You press it, you'll see a red light flash, and we'll see we have linked to PSI. We use the view key to enter the data view screen, and we're going to set up our zero. Start by connecting your hoses. The blue typically goes to the low, red to the high. And before we zero, we're going to talk about two different types of zeroing we use. We can zero to high common, which we would use if you're taking a pressure on something like we have here, like a balance valve, or you can zero to atmosphere if we're taking pressures on a pump or setting a PRV, or we just need to know the specific pressure as it relates to atmosphere. Our water flow is going to be in this direction, so our upstream, our red hose will plug into the top. We'll plug our red hose into the top port. We'll plug our blue hose into the bottom port. With both valves open on our hoses, I apologize. We'll want to bleed to verify that we do have connection to the ports. The Evergreen kit is included with a drain hose that you can go to a bucket, so if you're working in occupied space, you don't need to spill water everywhere. Once we've connected, we're going to zero this to high common. So we are going to close the low side port. And essentially what we have is we have pressure following the red hose, flows to here. We're going to open the bypass valve. The bypass valve allows it to equalize the pressure all the way back to this closed valve. So we have the same pressure at this point as we do at this point and across the meter. To enter the zero mode on our wrist reporter, we'll press the zero key. You'll have two options, gauge to ambient and high common. As stated, we're going to go to the high common. You'll hit S, select, and you'll see it say zero prep. During the zero prep, you'll see it go through a couple of cycles, and what you're looking for is that your differential, the far right pane, shows zeros in both panes. Once you see that, you hit S to lock in your zero. And you've now zeroed at 50, in this case, we're at 57.1 PSI on both lines. Now, in order to take a measurement, we are going to open the low line, and we are going to close the bypass. So now we're meeting the pressure between the high and lows. And you'll see on my meter here, I show essentially zero because I have no flow right now. As I open the valve, I am now showing a 3.2 foot differential across those ports, which I can use a manufacturer supplied slide rule to calculate the flow. All right, in our previous video, we discussed zeroing the meter to high common when you're going to use that when you're using balance valves, coils, small pressure drop across a high common pressure. In the case of doing a pump or a PRV, you're going to want to zero a meter to atmosphere. We're going to go through that procedure now. The first thing you're going to do is set up your water meter to accept that atmospheric zero. We're going to make sure that we are closed on our hose connections to our pump, our chiller, or whatever we're connected to. We are then going to open the bleed valves, both sides, as well as the equalizing valve. Now your meter is set up. We have no pressure coming from here. All our pressure is equal to the two atmospheric ports. We'll come back to our wrist reporter. We're going to press the zero key. You're going to have the two options as previous, but this time we're going to select ambient. Okay, now we're going to talk about zeroing the meter to ambient. Previously, we zeroed the meter to high common, which you would use on your balance valves or coils when you're taking a small differential pressure across a high common pressure. But in the case of a pump or a PRV, you're going to want to reference your pressure to atmosphere. And here's how we do that. We go back and set our meter up. This time we're going to close both ports because we want no pressure coming from where we're connected to. We will open both bleed ports as well as open our equalization valve. So now we are no longer reading pressure from here. We are reading the 2 atmospheric ports for a atmosphere reference. We're going to go do the same thing. We're going to press the 0 key, and this time we're going to select high common. I apologize, we're going to select ambient. Press the S key, and we're going to go into that 0 prep mode again. And you'll see the meter showing 0 on the high, 0 on the low, as 0 on the differential as well. Once you see that 0 in the right-hand pane, you have your 0 set, and you can press the S key to lock it in. And now our meter is showing zeros across the board as we've zeroed it. In order to take a measurement, we would close our bleed valves, open both of our line valves, and then we would close our equalization valve. And as you can see now, our high gauge is showing 20 PSI, our low gauge 19 PSI. For a differential, we're in the small range, so it's only 1.5 feet. Again, you would only use this method if you were taking a pressure on something with a high differential, pumps, PRVs, or anything you need a reference to ambient.